are you doing this week? How's Miss Linnie doing?
Good.
Any questions from the week, or? I'm trying to think. Last time we did the place, right? And then we reviewed the recall.
Yeah.
So now we've covered heel, recall, we did stay, we did place. Does she have any concept of down, like how to lay down and stuff? Like retreats or anything?
Yeah.
She does? Can you get her to lay down with the word, or does she only do it with treats?
I guess
Okay, you don't happen to have any. No? Okay. So what we'll do here is let's grab our stuff, we'll scoot down a bit. Get away from the noise. Harley bit Abby's mom's dog over food.
At least get in my ear and be like, hey, cousin, okay, I'm going to talk to my other cousin.
Is it bad?
He said there was a puncture.
Oh.
It's Maltese though.
I don't get the proper conversation.
All right.
Ever since I got married,
When's the last time you worked on any down stuff with her? Once a week. Okay. Let me think here. What I have you do for this week is go ahead and revisit the down with treats and do like each day 3 to 5 minutes just to get her used to it before we lay a remote over it. So for the down command, because we're using pressure to put them in a submissive position, a lot of dogs freak out. So to make it easier, especially like nervous, anxious dogs, I'll have the owner practice the down with the treats so it's familiar to them before we do anything with the remote to just make life easier for everybody. Because it's not as simple as down, and if she doesn't do it remote, if anything, it's going to make her freak out. So we have to teach her how to lay down with the remote initially, and then she's able to do it. If I see down, she doesn't respond, I tap her, she'll go like this. Okay. Anything in particular you'd like to work on or review? With the long leash and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. When you practice with the long leash, is it still in your hand, or are you letting it drag at all?
Letting it drag.
Oh, you are? Okay. And how's she do it?
She's pretty good. I mean, once she sees that, she's sort of on the side. She'll wander out.
Okay. Okay. So she's not too comfortable yet with just kind of being free and like doing
Like
everything?
occasionally, it'll be like if there's another dog there.
Okay.
And then she'll loosen up a bit. And
Gotcha.
She will come back.
Gotcha. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll have you pop her on the long leash, and then I'll have you review just how you've been practicing that, and then so for the off leash stuff, it takes there's stages to it. So we from the short leash to long leash dragging to eventually no leash, right? And the no leash part is where things get weird for a lot of people, because now there's no means of like physically grabbing their dog. So it'd be long leash dragging to no leash enclosed area. So like tennis courts in the winter are very popular for my clients because nobody can play tennis in the winter. So they'll do like no leash in the tennis courts, and this way if the dog makes mistakes, it's like no big deal. No leash at dog parks if they're like dog social and all that stuff. But the dog parks can be a little bit difficult just because if there's a lot of dogs, it's too big of a jump. So you're kind of just gradually working both Linnie and yourself to that degree. Otherwise, a friend with a backyard type of deal, whatever you can use to start kind of getting an idea of what she's like when she doesn't have any help. Okay? Any questions? All right, so let's go ahead and swap out. We'll bring the leash, the long leash. Good. And what's your number now? Okay. All right. So what we'll do here is we're gonna make life a little bit easier for Linnie. I'm gonna have you'll unclip the shorter leashes and just and clip her with the red leash. All right. And we're going to let the red leash dry completely. Okay? There you go. So I'm going to have you do the same thing, but now there's nothing in our hands. If you see Linnie going off the wrong way, you can always step on the leash. I try to refrain from grabbing it so that she doesn't get so used to seeing it in her hand. Now we're getting her used to seeing that there's not going to be anything, so there's no room in her path. And we'll see how she goes, okay? Tap, forward, tap. Good. Good. Keep forward, tap. There she goes, good. Tap forward, good. Go and speed up a little. Good. Go and slow to stop. Good. Stay. And then step away with your right leg. There you go. Yep, and then you'll move around. Very good. Back to her side. Good. And then heel. Good. Good turn. Tap, forward, tap. Good. Good turn. Tap forward, yep, good. And slow to stop again. Good, go ahead and tell her break. Okay, and then just move around. We'll see if she just kind of gets curious a little bit here, okay? Try going to your leash, the end of your leash, and give her a little nudge just to move her a bit. A little nudge. There you go. Right now. We need to work. Okay. What you do is you'll hold her. We're gonna do recalls.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have Enrique help you for like the recall stuff, but now it's recall no leash in your hand, but you'll have the end of it in case she makes a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like let it feed through, but don't have a grasp on it. So as she's pulling away, in case she detours, you can stop her.
No tension. Just let her.
Yeah.
Stationary recall.
I'll have you moving around. So we're recreating like no leash, but there's still some precautions there. Go ahead and call her. Good. Make a real long one.
Attached to the bed.
Yeah. So this way you don't have to be running behind her. Good. All right. So when you do the recall, Linnie calm, and then remoting, but then also moving backwards. Okay. Go ahead. Tap, tap, back. There we go. Right, now backwards, there you go. That's good. Very good. Good. And then you're going to do that side step exercise. Good. Good. Go ahead and give her a stay. Good. Then heel. Good. And you're going to slow and stop just like 4 feet from the placemat here. Good. And then you're going to take like a step forward and say place to kind of direct her to see if she'll stand on her own. If you need to, you'll be tapping, but you'll be gradually moving towards until she sends. Okay? Tap, 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 tap. Good. Good. And then walk, walk around, move away. Good. And then you're gonna go back so that she's on your left side. Doesn't matter which way. Very good. And then from there, you're gonna go into a heel. Yep. Good. Good and slow to stop. Good. And place. Tap. Tap. Good. And a girl. Very good. Do you remember if we did the right turns? You know what I'm talking about, like where you just turn out? Okay. So I'm gonna have Enrique show you. We're gonna add in a turn here. We do this turn. It's technically unfair because you step right out of peripheral range, but it's to force the disconnect so that we can correct her to see if she will find you. Would you show her those right turns? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, you're just abruptly turn right.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just 90 degrees?
Yep. Because she's on the left, so 90 degrees to the right. So like the crossover, but the opposite way.
With the left leg?
Yep.
So she's on her left, heel.
But show her with Linnie.
Oh, okay.
You probably need to use the leash. And then the remote, please. So then once you make that turn out, do a couple of pivots and stuff and tapping to sync her with you, and then do the abrupt right turns.
Okay. Heel.
All right, so good pivot, tap forward, good. Try a crossover. Tap, there you go. So right there, you see how when he turns, he's turning right out of her, that's better. Like that. So you're doing a 90-degree cut away from Linnie, because what happens is you end up getting out of tap, peripheral range. So you end up forcing a disconnect, tap, forward, good. So that we can make sure that she's coming back to that left side. Okay, try a couple more of the abrupt turns. There you go. Turn, tap, yep. Good. And with the abrupt turns, you don't have to slow down. Good. There you go. Right there. There it is. Forward tap. Good. Go ahead and bring her back to Jean. Good. She's a mama's girl. Okay. So when you're doing that turn, if Linnie is here, and you're just abruptly, there is no slowdown here. You're purposely doing this to get out of her peripheral range. So when you remote her, we want her to be able to connect and fix that issue. Okay, and you'll have your leash dragging. You'll be helping a little bit. Yeah, you can let it drag. Yep. Good turn. Keep forward. Good turn. Keep forward. Turn inwards. There you go. Forward. Yep, you got it. Good job. Good crossover. There she goes. Good girl. Tap, 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 tap. There you go. Yep, good move. Good girl. Good. And tap. There she goes. Good girl. Slow to stop. Excellent. And place. Tap, tap, tap. There she goes. And a girl. Almost. Tap, 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 tap. And a girl. Good job. Good. So she got a little discombobulated, right? It's okay. What I care about the most is that when you tap her, that she does come back to you. The going to the wrong side, we can fix over time. But I don't know if you noticed, she started hugging in tighter, and then she kept looking up to you as well. Okay. When we're utilizing heel in an off-leash manner, it needs to be very tight. If there's too much of a gap, that's where dogs run off. Okay. So the tighter they are, I'm not worried about. Are they going to preemptively like chase a squirrel or something? Because they're more worried about me and keeping contact than they are about, you know, chasing that animal, whatever it is. Okay. So all those turns look correct. We'll go in and give her a release. I'll have Enrique move with Linnie. We'll do a recall. We're just going to start blending all these things together. Okay. Go ahead. Good. When you're ready. Good girl. A little shake. Yeah, the girl. Good job. Good. Good. Go ahead and you'll pop her in the heel here, and you're going to heel and walk on this side of the placemat with Linnie on the inside, and just keep walking, because sometimes they get used to you sending that she might prematurely go. Okay. Tap forward. Good. There we go. Good girl. Right. Good. Good. Go ahead and tap forward. Tap forward. And there you go. Yep, good move. Good. And go ahead and bring her like just in front of this placemat. And slow to stop. Go ahead and give her a stay. Yep, and you'll walk off. Up. Good. Very good. And then back to her side here. And then from here, go ahead and send her to place. Yep. Tip. Tip. Good. And then go ahead and you can like walk over here. Very good. So what we're doing here is blending these things randomly to help her clarify what each word means. Okay. So when we do build towards off leash, we put in one command at a time, because the more we teach, the more problems we end up creating. So once we teach her the down and start applying that to like this stage, you're probably going to see her like lay down a lot because she's assuming, and then we got to correct that. Okay, so we went from heel, stay, come with the long leash to long leash dragging to those 3 commands plus the come command, and it's like almost no leash. We just put another one just to give us a little more leeway to try to make it, to recreate that feel of I'm not going to have this means of controlling her always. Okay, so here you put her in the stay, you said place, she didn't immediately get it, and then you tapped, and then she went around and hopped onto it with no tension. That's good. That's what we're looking for. We're looking that when she hears the cue and she feels the tap, that she does go into the behavior that she's been taught. Okay, and that's where all this kind of practice comes into play. Do you have any questions so far? Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and give her a break, and then Enrique, let me have you. I'm trying to think how to make her a little bit more distracted. Run around with her, I guess. That's just like
For recall?
yeah, for the recall, but like in the perimeter as opposed to away.
Okay.
Okay. Runaway Linnie. Go ahead and call her when you're ready. Good. Side steps. I know she resists a lot. Was it the tension back or the?
I don't know, because before she was like coming to me like really hard.
Good. Stay.
You just have to bring some fireworks.
But too advanced. Good. And then heel. Yep. There you go. Good. You got it. Good job. Good pivot. Yep. Tap forward, tap forward. Almost. There you go. Good. And you're going to walk around the placemat, but don't send her. Yep, tap forward, good. Good, right there. Good. And we'll do a quick send to place here so we can unwrap. Place, tap, 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 tap. Add a girl. Good job. Very good. 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 We'll let her rest for a moment. Very good. She's got good. It's just that switching sides
Yeah.
that she's having issues with. So one way to work through that, I don't mind the inward pivots to help her out, but if she keeps doing it, then it becomes a bigger problem. Because then I don't want to tap her and send her off running. So what you can do is if she keeps moving to your right, is as you're tapping, you might have to switch, is grab closer to the collar and slightly pull to your left. And the moment you feel Linnie going, you just let the leash go so she pops over. Okay? So you can give some guidance with the leash. I just, whenever, as soon as I see the dog going into behavior, I let it go. As opposed to keeping it there the whole time to guide them. Because then they become dependent on that constant tension in order to correct themselves. Okay? Questions so far? How's she been at work? Any issues? But have you seen the contacts yet or still not yet?
No, they kind of avoid each other. They'll play a little bit, but they're not amongst each other enough, I think.
Okay. What we'll do is we're gonna take a tangent off of this, and we're gonna do the what we call instances. Okay. And I'll have Enrique show you how those work. So when we for these commands, we can start to make them more complex simply by where we put them. So most people, it's like sit, down, come, heel, stay. Like it's pretty simple stuff. But dogs are capable of much more, and they learn much faster than people think they do. So I have Enrique go over how to start the application of it, or like just the training part of it to give you a visual. So these are what we call emergency sits or emergency downs. So technically, if Linnie's running around playing, if you're to say down, technically she's supposed to down if she has a really good concept of it. Now, because they're called emergency sits or downs, the reason why they're called emergency is like technically if Linnie's running away, you have the recall option, right? But then what if like Linnie happened to cross over a street and she's on the other side? You wouldn't want to do a recall there because you go right back to the street. That's where the emergency stationary commands come into play. And we start to plant that seed through using the sit. It's the easiest. Okay. And I'll have Enrique go over that for you to show you, and then I'll have you work with her on that. And that's going to be another thing we're going to add into her repertoire. Okay. Sure. Dip her down.
66, go down to like 56.
I go at 45. And then you can take off the black leash too, Enrique, so that she's got less to drag, since we're not going to give her the full rein. So when we do these commands, we do them from the heel position, and you're gonna have to time it so that when you're walking with Linnie, you're gonna time it so that when you give the sit cue, you're gonna be cutting in front of her with the right leg and continuing your movement. Okay, it's a little tricky in the beginning because you have to synchronize some stuff. But once you get it down, it's really easy.
You want us to stay in the dirt?
Yeah. Tap forward. Yep. Good. Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump it. She's very attached to you. What's your number at?
89.
Whoa. That's a lot of attachment there. When you get ready to go into those sits, you'll have to dip it down again. Tip, 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 tip. Good.
127.
Jeez. Does she have any separation anxiety? No? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, keep it stationary for now. Once you pivot off, she cut your finger? Oh, shit.
I got blood on her.
How did that happen?
The rope or the. I already
Just-
had a cut, and it just when she went there, it just ripped it open again.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, hold up. I think I got mine. There's no workers' comp. Yeah, I got mine.
Sit.
Check my bag, see if we got any like napkins. What I'm doing here is I want to time it as I'm moving like to the set. Say set. Yeah. My right leg pivots out so I'm in front of it. Okay? Go. Yep. Sit. Girl. Bring me a napkin too, so I can wipe it. 7. Please don't. I'll do a couple more. Deal. chiming in. And if I can, moving that movement. So in the beginning, because she kept wanting to pull towards me or lay down and stuff, I had to fix that first. Now with that last one, that was really good. I stepped away, was able to continue my movement, and she was able to sit down and stay staring. One more. Yep. Step. Yep, yep. So you're choking up higher in the leash because we're anticipating that we're going to need to, like right there, she's going towards me. You can use some counter pressure to help her keep her position. So we're walking. Once you see sit, this, kind of like a stay. Remember when we would stay and we would swing out like that? Very similar, but you're keeping your movement. Where it sits and you're ready to pull up. And if you can, you keep your movement. So that, because remote for weeks meant come to me, walk with me, and all that stuff. And now we're countering that. And we're saying randomly you may have to put that butt down while you're moving, and that pivot in front of her helps her kind of put the brakes on. Okay? Whenever you're ready.
Oh, that's a good one. Up, tap, right? And right there, going to start walking around her. Yeah, tap, tap.
Good. Back to her side and repeat.
Good. There you go. That was a good one. Add a girl.
Almost. Tap, tap. You got it. Good job.
Good. Try a couple more. Very nice.
There you go. That's okay. Right? Good job. Excellent. Yep. And then go ahead and you'll come to a stop here, and then we'll place her. Or let her just process that for a second. Good. So that the first one was really good. When you said to sit, boom, she right away went down to it. She just struggled with the moving to you, right? So now she's just having to differentiate that when she hears that cue, it means to put her butt down and to keep it down and not move towards you. Okay. So a lot of the stuff that she's doing is perfectly normal. There was a couple where she tried to move towards you. Then there was a couple that was pretty smooth and she was able to correct without following you. So all that looks good. So we're going to just let her rest for a second until she can process that. So now what we're doing here is just making things a little bit more complex by adding more commands to that repertoire. If you're incorporating those emergency sits into your training and you see that Linnie is struggling with something, like in the bigger picture of practicing everything all at once, I would isolate it and work on it by itself. Okay? 3 to 5 minutes, super short, a couple times a day. And then once you feel like she's doing really good with it, then we incorporate it into the bigger kind of practice session. Okay. Anytime you see Linnie struggling with something, like let's say she's struggling with the sense on a placemat, then I would isolate that and work on that some more before I bring it back into the bigger practice session. Okay, any questions so far? How you doing, Linnie? Alright, we'll go ahead and we'll release her. And you're going to go back to those heels into those paddle sits, okay? And what's your number now?
67.
67? Okay. Go ahead. Good. Better. Yep. Tap, good. Tap, tap, good. Nice one. Yep, forward tap. There you go. Tap, tap. Yep, you got it. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Now here, try going a little further away now. Up, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Good. Good. We'll do a couple more. Good, and last one. Very good. And break. Excellent. So right now, for this week, when you're working with her, you can do a couple things. One, if you have like a towel or something, you can incorporate the place. Otherwise, it's recall, heel, stays, and now you have emergency sits. For this week, you're going to be doing this, okay? But you can start, as she holds the position better, start going more distance around, okay? Eventually, what it would turn to is you're walking, say sit, but you keep moving, and she has to just pump the brakes and put her butt down. Okay, so this really helps a lot, which is clarification on what each individual command means in terms of the concept. But then, realistically speaking, in case that were to happen, you also have the means of just like stopping her so that you can actually go to her. I've only had a couple of people. One was one of my trainers. Her dog was going after a squirrel, and she needed the emergency down, so he said it stopped and it prevented him from crossing the street. The other was another client whose dog used to play across the street with the other dog, so they'd run it back and forth. So he said in case a car came, if the dog was across the yard in his neighbor's yard, he had a means of stopping them so that he wouldn't run into the street. So, any questions about this? So she did good. She got a little nervous and panicky with his reading, but I think they're even. Any questions? Okay. So good job. She's doing really good. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the off-leash healing and stuff. If you want to do the drag, and clipping your other leashes. The only reason why I switched them out is because since you had so many clips, getting like tangled up on sticks and stuff, what happens is it slows her down, and then she might think to stop, So I want something a bit more smooth. Otherwise, I like what I'll see in terms of her being close to you, with stuff to work on, the switching sides thing. And then review this week. If anything, review the down with the food a couple times a day, 2 to 3 minutes each time, just to get her warmed up for the next class. Okay? Awesome. Good job.